Well, before we even get to that, I think what a lot of people want to hear about is the preparation for it. We did some scouting. The coaches, I had an assistant coach, Mark Huber, aka Trump. We did some scouting of the team. Won't really bother you with the details about that, but so there was that element of preparation, and then there were some conversations with individual players, and then really some conversations with the team both the night before and then day of the game, because you could feel the energy in the air, right? You could feel that this whole tournament was coming to a climax, and that some of our players have big game experience, as it were, and playing and have had opportunities to play in championship games. Some people have lost in those big championship games, and that can change your attitude in those games. And some people have won them over and over and over again. And so they've come up with, you could call it coping mechanisms for the excitement, for the anxiety. And yeah, we had to address that on our team kind of head on. We brought it in a couple times to have productive conversations about it, very short ones, just mindset. Also warn the players that we're in Europe. We're playing against a European team. We are the de facto Team USA at this point. And everyone likes seeing Team USA lose because we're typically pretty dominant at international events. And you have to embrace the fact that this crowd will be against you. They're not going to be rooting for you. It's not personal. You have to figure out how to either enjoy that or judo it and leverage it, but you've got to figure out a way to keep it from being an impediment to you playing well. Because I remember, one of the reasons I brought this up to the team is because I remember some of my early days of playing in the UFA and some games where you're playing at an away stadium in Frisbee, and all of a sudden there was this, internal like consternation. I'm not a very confrontational type of person. I like everyone being like nice to one another, and you don't have to be, perfectly nice on the field or anything like that. But if there's an actual animosity coming from the sideline, I just feel like didn't know how to handle it early on as a player. And I could tell that some of our guys weren't mentally ready for that too. So anyway, we tried to go into that game as prepared as we could be for that, given the amount of experience that we had. And I thought those conversations were really productive. I thought that despite some of the players having anxiety about the game, they were able to get the most out of themselves considering the moment.
Can you describe some of those conversations? As I think there's probably people here that are listening that are wondering, well, what is it like to play in a championship game like that? And what, you're an experienced player, you've played in them before, you've won them. Now you're coaching, so people are coming up to you, or you maybe noticing, because you went through those times when you were struggling or nervous or whatever. So what do those conversations look like? What do you say? How do you, and then what are things you can do to put yourself and get yourself in the right mindset?
I think like the two most effective things is one, a mentality shift. And I guess they're both mentality shifts in some ways, but one of them is just mentality where you have to recognize what's going on in your body. Like, we are embodied souls. And if you are feeling the like tension and the nervousness, the anxiety, you have to understand what anxiety is for. It's like to prepare you for a thing, right? It's like, it's giving you a certain level of energy to make sure that you're not just going into this task blindly and then being overwhelmed by it. And, I'm not going to be the person you want to get all the details about that from, but you need to look into that if you're a player. But one of the things you can do is recognize that the series of events and the hormones that are released, the like chemical response that's taking place in your body for this anxiety, for this nervousness, is identical to excitement. And if you tell yourself, I am excited, and you tell yourself, I am excited, and you tell yourself, I am excited, then you'll be in a much better place than thinking constantly like, I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. Because you're not going to, like, especially if it goes unsaid, if you're just feeling nervous about it, you're probably not going to play well. It's very difficult to, like, you have to, like, get a stroke of luck, right? You have to throw a pass that goes really well, and all of a sudden you're just like in it. You're no longer thinking about the moment. You're in the moment.